semen retention could be life-changing. I myself have been going on longer streaks of semen retention. I decided not to ejaculate as often. As you probably know, if you watch my other videos, I have quit porn over many years. So porn is not at all a part of my life. However, you still have girlfriends, you still have the need to ejaculate. I'm not saying that you should never ejaculate, even if you don't have a girlfriend. However, I have myself been on longer streaks of semen retention, and the longer you go, the better you will feel. Now, it does not necessarily mean that you should never ejaculate. But um, if you do it all the time, even if you're not watching porn, it is detrimental because it definitely takes away your life energy, your sex energy, your sexual energy that could be transcended and put elsewhere. That's very true. However, I think there is this Thai guy from Thailand named Mantak Chia who has kind of like a schedule for how often you should ejaculate. And the younger you are, the more often you can ejaculate, and the older you get, the less often you need to release because you have less energy, obviously, and you don't need to waste it by ejaculating all the time. And you can definitely see it. When I was younger, I could definitely ejaculate without feeling so much of the tiredness and the fatigue that comes from it. But when you get older, it's like you can feel the difference between, and it's like alcohol. If you drink all the time, you won't feel the difference because you would feel like shit all the time. If you are, let's say, to go on a semen retention streak for a week or 2 weeks or a month, then when you ejaculate, you can feel the next day, you won't feel necessarily as vibrant. Yeah. And it does not mean that you cannot ejaculate. There's a time and place for ejaculation, especially if you have a woman. But even in that case, even if you have a girlfriend, you don't need to ejaculate all the time. I think it's very important to have this practice of semen retention, even if you have a girlfriend. But regardless of if you have or you don't have a girlfriend, young men and older gentlemen have actually cultivate this practice in life. Why? Because it means that you are not controlled by your balls. You are not controlled by the need to ejaculate all the time. And if you can focus on something else, that's where your potential is. You could read the chapter by sexual transformation in the great book by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. And he talks about how seldom it is for men under the age of 40 to achieve great success. And I guess it's true to a certain extent. Maybe at that time, maybe a bit less because there are many ways to be successful. They were not available to people or 50 or 100 years ago. Yes, you can have young people succeeding, but if you are under 40, I think that's a great practice to have. You don't need to wait until your libido decreases. You can actually tame it by doing practices like semen retention. And then semen retention could actually change your life. I'm not here to tell you, oh, you semen retention, you need to do those longer streaks or a year or 2 years as 3 years. I mean, and I'm not being an extremist when it comes to semen retention because I don't think you necessarily need to. Now, if you want to pursue spirituality and desexualize your mind completely and be a monk or someone who chooses celibacy and chastity, then more power to you. Go ahead. As long as you do not watch porn and do not ejaculate all the time, you are better off than 90% of men. And obviously, if you want, as I said, if you want to pursue spirituality, there's a whole different question, a whole different topic. And again, more power to them. Quit porn, obviously. And you can go on a semen retention streak without telling yourself you will never ejaculate again or not ejaculate for 6 months. You can ejaculate after a week, you can ejaculate after 2 weeks, you can ejaculate after a month. As long as you feel okay and you're doing it the proper way, which we will talk about in another video, it's okay. You don't need to be an extremist when it comes to semen retention. Where you need to be an extremist is quitting porn. I think semen retention is one thing, being on nofap and quitting porn is another thing. Every man should not have porn in their lives. But that's all I'm going to say about this subject. And I'll see you very soon. Thank you so much for listening till the end.